Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are doing coming out of the storm readings. So we're all going to start with Hagalaz, which is the hailstorm. We just had a storm where I live, so we came out of it okay. We got out of it. Some trees came down, but there were people around us who had it a lot worse than us. There are people who lost power and everything. We were okay where we were, but it was a storm. So anyway, we're good. We're okay. And so we're doing a reading about if you feel like you're in a chaotic situation and if you feel like you're in a storm right now, let's see what you can do and also the path that might happen to get you out of this storm situation. Because the thing about storms is that they do not last. They are not permanent. They just happen and they're weather and then they move on. So as destructive as they are. So we have 4 cards from the Gentle Creatures Wisdom deck, and we have 4 Hagalaz runes from 4 sets of Elder Futhark runes. We have Stone, Bone, Wood, and Clay. So we have the Hagalaz rune in Rose Quartz, we have the Hagalaz rune in Bone, we have the Hagalaz rune in Willow Wood, and we have the Hagalaz rune in Clay. So feel into these cards. One of these has a message for you regarding your situation with chaos and the storm that you're in, and basically your situation about what you can do and also how you're going to start coming out of this storm. So I will put the timestamps in the description and I will see you there. Bye. Hello to everyone who's chosen the stone reading for the coming out of the storm reading. So I'm going to move the Hagalaz rune over here. Actually, no, I'm going to keep the Hagalaz rune on this side, and I'm going to turn the card so it'll just sit here over on this side. So support is your card. So what I would say is what's going to help you come out of this situation that you're in, where the storm is just recognizing that you are supported, whether this is an external support system or whether it's just your ability to support yourself through it. It is showing as an external thing. It could be something that's bigger than you. So it could be a support system, or it could be family, or it could be a higher power kind of thing, like even if it's just a higher self. That kind of thing. So support is going to be key. You're going to get through this, but support is definitely going to be key in getting you through this. So let's start this reading with the Elder Futhark with the Rose Quartz runes. Okay, yeah, because you have had a rough time that has led to this storm that you are currently dealing with. I'm going to lay down the whole reading first, and then we're going to go from there. Okay, we'll start with that. So, central issue, of course, for all of these readings is Hagalaz. Hagalaz is the rune of the hailstorm. This has to do with chaos and things that are out of your control and a storm, basically. You feel like you're going through a storm. Things are just whipping around you, and you're feeling very vulnerable and sort of slightly in danger, and just like things are just crazy around you. Leading up to this, there was an unpleasant surprise that happened. We have Perthel, which is the rune of the lot box. That has to do with surprises and fate, but it is reversed on the path line. So it could be, there is a way to read this where it's something that you found out about yourself that caused the chaos to happen. Mostly, though, I'm seeing this as something that has popped up that has been an unpleasant surprise that was sort of unexpected, but it was like once it was revealed, it was like this has always been the case, and now I know about it, and this is causing some chaos. And so even if it is something that you found out about yourself, as it's reversed, sometimes this has to do with inner. It's whatever it is what caused this chaos right now. Whether it was an unpleasant surprise or whether it was something that you found out about yourself that just sort of was such a shock, that was always the case about yourself, that was like, oh my gosh, and it's sort of thrown everything into disarray. So what is going to help you is we have Kaunaz. Kaunaz is the first thing that's going to help you is we have Kaunaz. Kaunaz is the rune of the torch or the fire. This has to do with opening out and expansion, just to sort of become open to what this is that happened. Sort of, no way out but through. So just sort of to accept and move through. Like, you don't have to like it, but it's like, we're not going to deny it. We're not going to be in denial of it. That's interesting. That's interesting because of that. By opening up to it, then you can speak about it. And that's one of the things, Ansu's, which is the rune of communication and manifestation. So the first step to dealing with what's going on is to, like, accept the fact of it, basically. You're not accepting it in terms of, you know, that you love it, but you're accepting it in terms of this is what it is. And once I open up to that, I can actually, because, you know, you hit with something like that and you can clench up. But if you open out in it and say, okay, this is the storm that's happening. I'm letting this storm pass through. I'm being open for it. And then once that happens, then that will actually open things up so that you can speak about it. As long as you haven't, then it's bigger than you are. But if you can speak about it, then this allows you to start processing it and allows you to start, you know, letting time carry you through it. Because the thing about the storms is they, again, don't last. They are short-lived things, just crazy chaos. So just, you're going to let this, you're sort of riding this out kind of thing, and just allowing it instead of resisting it, just letting it starting to flow through. And then this will also allow you to get big enough around it that you can actually, you're expanding enough that you can actually speak about it and have that communication happening. What won't help is you are worried about the other people and whether you will be supported in this. So what's interesting is that support is really key for getting through this. And sort of like opening up, maybe this is opening up to other people for support, and you're sort of worried about that because, you know, both of these are very positive runes. And when you get very positive runes in the negative spot, mostly this has to do with worries about it. So we have Manas, which is the rune of humanity and your part in it. And we have through that Algiz, which is the rune of protection and support. So you're worried about opening up to other people about this crazy thing that's happened. Not necessarily crazy thing, but this like unexpected and difficult thing that has caused chaos in your life. And you're worried about how you're going to be seen in the world for if people find out kind of thing. And also the reason you're worried about that is because you're worried about support and will I have the support that I need. The fact is you will. This shows that it may not be where you expect it to be, unfortunately, in that sort of situation, but it might be where you expect it to be. So, but wherever it is, it's going to be enough that it is going to be able to support you. However, you are worried about it, and that could stop you from moving forward through it because you're clenched up. If that starts to be the case, bring yourself to the point where you're just going to start to, you know, let yourself expand, let yourself open up, and through that, allow yourself to speak. You can communicate what's going on with you. Your next step is we have Dagas. Dagas is the rune of the breaking of the day. So the revelation has happened. Let it go kind of thing. You know, you can't hold it back anymore. And it's basically now people know. So now they know. You can let it go. So basically the revelation is there, and with the revelation comes the breaking of the day through the storm. So the storm will only really last at this moment. As soon as you allow yourself to open up with this and find the support that you need through that, just to be able to speak your truth, it's out there, and then you can stop running around. Well, we'll get to that. Basically it's out there. It's you sort of included in your day. We have the breaking of the day, which is Dagas, the dawn. It's the dawn of a new time in your life. The day is breaking, the storm is over after that. And what's going to help you there is basically to let yourself rest, to let yourself not be running around with that. We have Evaz, which is the rune of the horse. This has to do with movement and also spirit. So you're letting your inner spirit carry you. But you're also not wearing yourself out running around. Maybe you were doing a lot of running around before to try to hide what was going on, and now you don't have to because it's out there and people know. The people who need to know, and these are the people who are going to support you. So that's at least a good thing. So what won't help is you are still, I'm not going to say in denial, but you're still in a situation where you're kind of bargaining, where you're like, maybe if I did this, then I wouldn't have to deal with this. Maybe if this, then it won't be as much as I think it is about the, but honestly, like, this is your situation and you've already opened up to it and you've already spoken of it. It's open, it's out there. You're sort of thinking like maybe there was something else I could do, but this is the situation. This is what happened. You can't put it back in the box. So, so bring yourself back up to where you're not running around anymore. You're just basically letting your inner spirit carry you inwardly, but you're not running around to be like a spooked horsey to basically hide what is. And you are basically allowing what is supporting you to support you in that. What this is going to lead you to is greater sense of inner strength. We have Uruz reversed. Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. The wild ox has to do with strength and health. It is reversed on the path line, so it is basically inner strength. It may also be a release of stubbornness, a release of digging in, a release of resistance if it's upright. I mean, if it's reversed. Upright is very dug in and sometimes very stubborn. So it is reversed. So it's A, inner strength, inner health, and B, a release of resistance to what's happened, because you now are moving forward with what's happened, and you've already found basically through this, through speaking your truth, where you have support, and the sun is out again, so the storm is no longer going on, and you are able to be calm. So that, card number 1 and Rose Quartz rune people for Hagalaz is your Hagalaz reading. I wish you all the best, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to all of you who chose the bone Hagalaz and who chose the second card. So let's turn the second card and see what we're dealing with here. Herd. So what's going to help you get through your Hagalaz moment, your storm moment, is having yourself be heard, basically. You may feel like everything's a storm inside you, but once you're heard, then it's outside of you, and it's not as huge. Like, it's inside you, it's like taking up everything once you are heard, and it just sort of, it's a blessing, It's like there's in the White Light Oracle, there's the blessing of being seen, and that's basically the same thing as like being heard. Once you're heard, then you're not alone, kind of thing. So let's get the rest of the bone runes for this reading. What kind of bone are they? We didn't know. When I bought these, the person at the shop was like, probably cow? Some sort of bovid? Anyway, so we are going to start with, I'm going to build the entire reading, and then we're just going to go from there. There we go. That's perfect. That's exactly. And I did actually throw, usually the first reading I do in the session, it sets the scene for what the shape of the reading is going to be. So I'm just going to go with that again, and we're going to go forward from there. So central issue, as with all the readings in this session, is Hagalaz. So Hagalaz is the rune of the hailstorm. This has to do with chaos and things that are out of your control, and weather, and just things that are just like suddenly crazy around you, and you're just dealing with it. It's not in your control, it's chaotic, it's a bit frightening. What led up to this was, we have Gabo. So I'm going to read this a few ways. For some of you, this may have been an interaction with another person. This may be a one-on-one interaction that has led to some chaos. It may also be an agreement, decision, goal, or plan that has come into question, or maybe perhaps the reaching of an agreement, decision, goal, or plan that has led to suddenly this upsurging of storm. I do want to actually clarify this one just a little bit to, so you've basically met with a challenge as far as that goes, whether it is with a one-on-one relationship, an interaction, an exchange, or an agreement, decision, goal, or plan. You have met with a challenge that is seems to be impossible. So we have Fehu. Oh, sorry. Gebo's the rune of the gift. The gift was always an exchange. And then we have Hagalaz, which is our clarifier for that. And that's the challenge rune. It's reversed, so it's a very, very difficult challenge, which has led to this feeling of things are out of my control, things are chaotic, I don't know what to do, things are flying around me, and it's crazy. I need to be heard. And I think that's probably what happened, is that whatever it is, the impasse is from feeling not heard. So what is going to help you with this? We have Raido, which is the rune of the journey. The journey is your journey, so it's the journey rune, so just keep moving forward. Don't let this stop you moving forward. Keep trying to move forward the best you can. As you do this, this will sort of let... I mean, the thing about the storm is you just have to wait it out. Like, the storm will pass. All storms do. So it's one of those things where you're just going to continue your journey the best you can, and that will carry you through, and it'll actually open you up to the rhythm of things as they move forward. We have the blank rune as the helper of the helper. So once you're moving forward, then you can see how the skies are, and how the skies will start to clear, the clouds will start to dissipate, and just, the only way out is through, so you just keep moving forward the best you can. What isn't going to help is there's worries about support, and there's worries about emotional levels. So we have Algies, which is the rune of protection and support. It's the elk, it's the moose. It's a highly positive upright rune in the negative line, so this has to do with a worry about it. You're worried about support. Do I have the support that I thought I did? And beyond that is the fact that it's a surge of emotions. We have Lagus, which is the water, all the watery stuff, emotion, intuition, and heart. And it's just this surging that it can overwhelm your logic of what's going on, because you're super emotional, and then you think maybe this means nobody's supporting me if I'm not being heard, blah, 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 and then that makes things worse and it drags you down. The best thing to do is right now just acknowledge, yes, there's a storm in progress, keep moving forward, and you will get through the storm. Keep your eyes on the skies and also on the prize, to keep rhyming. No, but just keep moving forward. We have the journey rune. Just continue your journey forward. Do what you need to do to move forward, and you will move forward. Now, after the storm, it looks like there's going to be some rebuilding that needs to be happening. We have Ivaz, which is the rune of the yew tree. This has to do with patience, step by step, slow growth, slow development, but it's a certain path. Like, it's going to take some time, but you can rebuild. Like, you can build it even better. Basically, the direction you're going, you will get there, but it's not going to be immediately. You're going to be getting there, but you have to take the steps. You can't get there immediately. What is going to help at that point? This is when the storm is over, which won't be long, especially if you just keep moving forward and let things do their thing and work their way out. Communication is going to be absolutely key in helping you get through this and setting your steps and moving forward again. So we have Ansus, which is the rune of communication and manifestation. Absolutely, communication is going to be the key. So it looks like, even if this was a one-on-one relationship thing that blew up, and there was a impasse reached and a hard challenge that seemed impossible, and now things feel chaotic, it's like it's too volatile. You have to let things settle before you can try to fix it right now. So let that happen. And even if it's not a one-on-one relationship thing, it could be like something that has to do with a decision that was made, or a goal that was reached or set. It's something that had to do with an exchange of some kind. Some sort of exchange has led to this, and it's been like a huge impasse, extremely difficult. You don't know how to begin with this. But just keep moving forward, and you'll get to that point where the storm part of it has passed, and you will be able to you'll see the steps ahead, you'll see the path again, and you'll be able to say, okay, I see the steps that need to be taken. Communication is going to be absolutely key in moving forward on this path, and in clearing things up and making things better and getting heard. This is where the hearing starts happening, and it's going to be, being heard and also listening. Although, given this and this, I think it's your turn to be heard, basically. If it was reversed, then I would say it's the listening time. When it's not reversed, it's going to be like, hey, I'd like to talk about what happened, kind of thing. What isn't going to help is there is going to be stubbornness involved. We have Uruz, which is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health, but also stubbornness. On the lower line, it definitely has to do with stubbornness. Some people are going to be really dug in about this, or situations are going to be really dug in about this. And it's going to be really hard to deal with because there's going to be, and it may also be you, there may also be like a stubborn dug in aspect that is making things difficult from both sides on this. So just to be aware and to beware of that. But all of it can be sorted out with communication in this step. Like even if you see that, if you sense that in the other party or in yourself, that you're digging in and that you're being very, very stubborn, bring yourself back up to, you know what, I know we can sort this out with communication and just take the steps that we need to take to get where we need to go. And where we need to go looks really good because we have Othala, which is the home and the homeland rune. So it looks like you are back in your comfort zone in just a couple steps from now. It's the home, the homeland, sanctuary, security, all that good stuff. It's upright. So you have to work through these steps. But once you've done that and once you've done the communication, not only will you feel heard, but you will feel at home. And that is definitely good. Hopefully your home is not a tennis ball like this little hermit crab. However, if it is and you love it, then so be it. So that is your reading. Card number 2, people who chose the bone Hagalaz, for how to get through your Hagalaz storm into a more comfortable place. And I wish you all the best, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello to all of you who chose the wood Hagalaz, card number 3. So let's turn the card and see what we're dealing with here. Oh, and this one happens to be different. It is horizontal and it's stories. So what is going to help you get through this is to sort things out, tell the stories. Maybe it's even just a matter of wading through the storm, and in order to do that, we tell ourselves stories to give ourselves strength and to keep our morale up until the storm is over. So let's get the Willow runes and get the reading going on. So let's get I'm going to lay down the entire reading. It's going to be the same shape as the other ones in this session. As usual, I let the first reading of the session set the shape, and then we just basically build the same shape, more or less, for the rest of the readings. Okay, nice. So this looks a bit tricky, but that's why we're taking the time to make sure that we're safe and tell each other stories until things get till the light comes back, kind of thing. So central issue, as always, in this session, as with all of the other readings in this session in particular, is Hagalaz. Hagalaz is the rune of the hailstorm. It has to do with chaos and things that are out of your control, things that are like weather, things that sweep in and are a bit violent, and hopefully not actual violence, but like something that's out of your control, that's like weather, that sort of comes in, it's a bit dangerous and scary and out of control and all around and whipping around and being scary. But these things always pass, so we just have to basically find a way to survive them and wait them out and get through them. But right now, this is where you feel like you are. Leading up to this, we have Berkana reversed. Berkana is the rune of the birch tree. The birch tree has to do with beginnings and birth. When it's reversed, it has to do with, I'm going to read this a couple ways, either something that you're birthing from within, something that you're incubating inside, that you're sort of birthing within yourself, or this is something that you wanted to begin but had to be backburnered before it could begin, or basically wasn't able to begin properly. We had to unbegin something that you wanted to begin, but you had to unbegin it for a bit. Doesn't mean you can't do it later, but it had to sort of turn over and be okay, not going forward the way that it was. Maybe it wasn't ready, maybe it just wasn't going to work. So for whatever reason, we want to basically, I can think of some really very sad things that this could also be. So something that you were hoping to begin that didn't. So we'll go with that. You are now in a state of chaos. Things feel that they're out of your control. Things feel frightening and chaotic and scary. So what is going to help you? First thing that's going to help you in this situation is connect with other people. We have manas, which is the rune of humanity, and your part in it. I always say manas is like facing each other with joy. So you may not feel joyous, but basically you are going to find connection and camaraderie and what's the word I'm looking for? Similar experiences that can reflect each other and find comfort in that with other people. You're going to be able to do that if you do that. And through doing that, you are going to find that you are able to support yourself. So manas, rune of humanity, and your part in it, face each other and basically connect with other people who have had like experiences. And through that, you'll be able to say, yeah, you know what, I can stand up. I can face this. I can protect myself. I can support myself for this. And you're supporting yourself by connecting with other people. And by doing that, you're able to, it's like that wonderful comic strip that had the two people, both like the one guy's under a rock and he's like, help. And then his wife is also under a rock and she's like, this is not literal, this is like figurative. But it's like drawn like a life's problems, the rocks that represent life's problems. And she's like, I've got my own problems, but at least we can support each other. And so they're like, you got this. I know you got this. We can do it. Yeah, I'm here. I support you. So even though we're all under our own rock of life's problems, we can still support each other from there. And through that, we can realize that we can stand up for ourselves. We can support ourselves when we see that everybody is also has had situations like this and has had to deal with difficulties like this. So that's what's going to help. What isn't going to help is, I mean, under all of it is just, it's very emotional. You're feeling very, like the emotion is just surging and you're worried about your heart, your figurative heart. And so that's lagus, that's at the lowest level. Basically what you're going to find your way to that through is we have Yura. Yura is the rune of the harvest and time. So you're worried about something that you were hoping to bring through. That might drag you down, and because underneath all of that is just all this emotion that's to do with it. It also has to do with worries about time. So how much time has passed, how little time may be left, etc. There's just this panic about that. And of course, once again, the water just feels like it's going to overwhelm everything. If that starts to be the case, this is why you want to make it not as big for you. Like if you go out, and you don't have to go out, you can stay hunkered down in the tent and tell your stories from there. But definitely tell your stories, because you will be met with others who have harmonic stories and resonant stories that will also that will help you feel better, and that will help you get through this storm, and that will help you stand up again. So your next step after that, it is going to be a very hard challenge. We have Thurizaz reversed, which is the rune of the challenge, but it is reversed on the path line. So the thorns are facing you. This is a very difficult challenge to get through. And what is going to help you is we have Dagaz, which is the rune of the breaking of the day, illumination, revelations. I'm actually going to throw down a couple. You get 2 extra runes because I really want to make this good. Yeah, I mean, similar to Berkana reversed, where it's something that couldn't begin the way that you wanted it to. What has happened has meant that the journey that you were on couldn't proceed the way that you wanted it to. So it's sort of like it's not like it's not going to be any less hard, but coming to terms with what it is, and letting yourself see it and letting yourself accept it, perhaps to mourn, perhaps to let yourself grieve and lay to rest the future that you had hoped for. I'm so sorry, this is just so sad. I hope, I'm sending you virtual hugs. for what that's worth. So it looks like, and I don't know how long this is going to take for you, but it will take as long as it will take. And you're letting yourself see this as the mythic present of your life, and coming to terms with it and allowing yourself to grieve and allowing yourself to face it is what's going to help get you over this really difficult, challenging part once the storm has ended and is over. What isn't going to help is we have Ingvaz, which is the rune of Ing, another name for Frey. Frey's the fertility god. This has to do with active creation. There may be, the bargaining stage of things. There may be like, what if I did this? What if I tried to force things to be this other way? And at the bottom of all of it is like your happiness feels like it's at stake. I feel like I won't be happy unless I can force this to be a certain way. It's not that way. It isn't, and you know this. And so as long as you're sort of living in this, then you're not going to be able to move past this thorn wall. You have to face what is, and you have to lay to rest what you thought it would be. I'm so sorry. And once again, what already was helping you will continue to help you. Tell your stories. Keep your stories. Your stories will keep things alive in a way that is sustainable and mythically viable for you. So again, facing it, grieving for it if you need to, you can move forward. And when you move forward, you will then be able to focus on the things you need in your life. We have Nauthiz, which is the root of need. The need is the needs you need to tend, basically. It's sort of a bit constraining, but it's like you will see what you need to do, and by moving to that, sitting to that, you'll be able to move forward. We have about 4 minutes left. I'm actually going to give you an extra line because I feel like it's right to do so. Yeah. So you'll get through this and you'll be able to make some new plans, but we'll get to that. After you've passed this really difficult challenge stage and you're tending your needs, the thing that's going to help you the most is the first needs you need to tend are for you, your inner needs. We have Tivaz. Tivaz is the rune of Tyr. Tyr's the warrior god. He has to do with taking care of duties and responsibilities. Your first duty and your first responsibility is for yourself. So it is reversed and it's on the upper line. The first thing you're going to do as far as tending your needs go is make sure that you have tended all of your personal you needs, because you need to do that. It's like that whole make sure that your own oxygen mask is in place before you're attempting to assist another. Take care of what you need first. There will be other things that you will be taking care of afterwards, but make sure that you are taken care of first. What isn't going to help is things are going to feel a bit like hot and bright, and also you may be worried about energy levels. Once again, if you take care of your needs, if you take care of the duties and responsibilities you have to yourself, that's going to help you take care of all the other needs. So start with that. That's what's going to help you the most. And what it's going to lead to ultimately is we have Gabo. Gabo's the rune of the gift. The gift is always an exchange, and this has to do with agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. It may also have to do with a one-on-one interaction. However, I'm seeing this as you've reached this point, and now it's like not only have you completed this, there's a sense of completion. You've gotten through it, you've reached this point, but also now you can start to make new plans. You can start to set new goals. So that, card number 3, people with the Willow rune of Hagalaz, is your reading. I wish you all the best with this. And again, big hugs. And I wish you, as always, a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 4, people who chose the clay Hagalaz rune. Let's turn the card and see what we're looking at. So pause. What's going to help you with this Hagalaz moment in your life is to take that moment and use it to take a pause in your life. Sometimes, if we don't stop, life makes us stop. And I've recently even had that in my own life where I was just like push, and pushing myself, and every day pushing, and then finally my body said, no, you're gonna stop today, and you have to. So things are a bit chaotic right now, and use this as the opportunity to take a pause, basically, is what's going to help you. So let's get this reading going on with the clay runes. I'm going to set down the entire reading. I'm going to set the entire reading down first. These are big runes, so they're going to be a little bit scrunched. But that's okay. So I'm going to lay the whole thing, that is blank. I'm going to lay the whole thing out first, and then we're going to read it from there. Pretty much the same shape as the other ones in this session. However, we'll see where it goes from there, because sometimes we may need to add as we go. So your central issue, as with all of the central issues in all of the readings today, is Hagalaz, which is the rune of the hailstorm. This has to do with chaos and things that are out of your control, and things that are like weather, which is just like crazy things, crazy time all around you, and you're feeling like a bit frightened, and it's a bit scary, and it feels dangerous. Leading up to this, it was like a long, slow development coming up to this point. So it may have been a situation like that, where you're just like, you just persisted and persisted and persisted in a thing that you were doing, that, or on a path that you were on, that has led to this point where things have just gone crazy around you, and now you need to just basically say, okay, I'm going to take this moment and I'm going to stop. I'm going to be present. I'm going to take this pause in the forest with my flower and just let the storm happen, and then the storm will dissipate and you can move on. Just like the card, what is going to help you right now is pause. Take a pause. Be still. We have Isa. Isa is the rune of stillness and standstill, and it's the stillness through which clarity comes. So we have stillness. Once you're still, then things are going to start to open out. We have Isa, which is ice, and that's stillness and standstill, and the stillness through which clarity comes. And then through that, you will be able to access Hagalaz, which is the rune of the fire, and it's the torch, and it's like going to illuminate things, but you have to be still for the illumination to start to come through. So it is upright, it's an expansion, it's opening out, it's light, it's the torch. So that's what's going to help you. It's like you're still, things are a storm, but you're still, and then suddenly you're in the eye of the storm, or in the eye of the storm, or else in the calm part of the forest while this is all going on. Either way, stillness is going to be key in this moment. What isn't going to help is you're worried about what you don't know. It's like fear of the unknown kind of thing. Like you're what is going to happen now? Everything's flying around. There's hailstorm. There's hail in the air. And beyond that, you're worried about what you're going to look like to other people. So, and that's the thing, is like you're sort of worried about what people are going to think of you. And okay, I'm going to take this one step at a time. We have the blank rune, which is the rune of the unknown. And it's in the lower line, so it's going to be more the negative readings of that. So it's like fear of the unknown. It's fear of what you don't know, because this is something that's happened that you haven't had this happen before, because you've been going along in this way for a long time. All of a sudden, storm, and this is crazy, and it's frightening, and you're not used to it, and you haven't seen it before, and you feel like deer in the headlights kind of thing. And one of the things that you're most worried about is perhaps being seen and judged. We have Manaz, which is the rune of humanity and your part in it. So at the bottom of your fear of what is going to happen is your fear of, will people still like me? It's the whole thing about, are people looking at me going through this and judging me? Things like that. That's just worries. Bring yourself back up to what you can do, which is to be very still right now. Be the stillness in the storm, and then as you do that, the more you do that, then the light is going to start to come back. What your next step is going to be is we have Yira. Yira is the rune of the harvest and also time. So I'm going to read this a couple ways. First of all, once the storm clears, you are going to be able to see what you've gotten from it. What you've gotten through all of this, what your harvest is, what is in your field, what have you grown, what are you reaping that you had sown, things like that. You're going to be seeing what you have that is your abundance, but also what was the results. So you're going to be seeing what the fruits of your labors perhaps, but also the results of what happened. And you're going to be able to look at that. You are also going to be able to, you're going to find yourself in a period of time where you're like, okay, I'm going to stay in the present moment, and I'm going to be looking at things, considering this being the time that I am given in order to look at what I have and really reassess, and also just basically take stock of what I have. What is going to help you the most with this is, I'm going to read this a couple ways, but I am actually going to give ourselves some clarifiers up and down on this line, because I want to be really careful reading Fehu reversed here. So what's going to help here is, first of all, you got through this, so you can have some confidence that you survived, and that's definitely going to help you. Seeing your inner worth is a thing. This is Fehu. So Fehu's the first rune. It's the rune of wealth and worth. It is reversed and it's on the upper line, so it's what is helping you. Reversed tends to be inner, on the upper end, the middle line a lot of the times. So I'm seeing this as, what is going to help you in this stage where you're like after the storm and you're basically looking at your field. It's like, okay, what do we have? Is the confidence that you actually got through the storm. You were worried for a while that you didn't, and you have, and it's like, okay, I was able to survive that. That is something that I can do. And through doing that, your emotions can calm down because you were really worried. And then we have Laguz, which is the rune of emotion, intuition, and heart. It's the water. It's the lake. It is reversed and it's on the highest upper line here. So this is what's going to help you. And what's going to help you is through the confidence that you have gained by getting through this storm, by being still, you are able to be a little bit stronger and a little bit more confident dealing with what comes after and the results of that. And this is going to lead you to being able to let your emotions settle, let your emotions calm down, let that go down, let it not be surging. As well, it's going to help you tap into your inner heart, get more connected with your inner heart and what your heart connection, which is very important. The other way I was going to read this is to sort of see yourself as, I want to say this very carefully. It's sort of like to see yourself as small, but not like worthless, but like not overtly as, like maybe you thought you were indestructible and you see that when the storm hit, you were like at the mercy of it, or at the non-existent mercy of it, as the case may have been. And so just to be aware of that, maybe I'm not indestructible, and that can actually help you really connect to your deep inner heart and remember what's important in your life. So that's the other way I was going to read it. So what isn't going to help you is, now is not the time, and we got both. Right now we're assessing. Like after the storm, you're just going to go out and look at what is out there and what the results are and what there is, and use the time that you have to deal with that. This is not the time to try to do a huge overhaul, even if you feel like your needs are going to be there are going to be needs coming up that you're going to need to fix everything. So walk you through that. We have Ingvaz, which is the rune of Ing. Ing is another name for Frey. Frey is the fertility god, and this has to do with active creation. So in the lower line, it's like you don't want to be right now in this stage where the storm is over, but you're looking over your field. You don't want to be going in there and trying to wrestle with things. You're just basically assessing what there is and seeing what there is that is the result of that, but also what abundance you may have, which is good, because you are feeling pretty good inner worth. You did survive this. What is behind this is this feeling like you don't want this to happen again. So you're really wanting to get in there and just like deal with, preemptively deal with any needs that might come up. Yeah, and energy levels are another thing that are going to be something that worries you. Yeah, again, sorry. So Velo, energy levels, that's the sun. And then to back up what I was saying about you're going to calm down, here we are also calming down. We have Avaz reversed, so that's movement in spirit reversed on the highest line. So Yeah, so if that starts to be the case, if you feel like, oh, I have to fix this immediately, you're going to put yourself right back in the place that you were before. Just basically be confident that you survived this. Have a look at your field, and we're going to just basically look at that and see what there is to get from it. And coming out of that, once you've assessed, your next step here is going to be great strength. You're going to be much stronger than you were before, or you're going to be much more grounded than you were before. We have urus, which is the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health, and groundedness and all that good stuff. You're going to be, because you went through this experience, what you learned from that, not only what you learned from why it happened, but also what you learned from being able to get through it, and taking that moment and taking these moments where you're like letting it assimilate is perhaps the word that I was looking for, but just basically letting it sink in, and absorb the knowledge of the wisdom of that. You're going to be much stronger by the end of this. It's going to give you much greater strength and much greater health moving forward because of what you went through and because of what you learned. So that, card number 4, people, is your reading. I wish you all the best, and I wish you, as always, a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye!